let's talk about another English team that also shocked us. We didn't expect it. Let's talk about Manchester City capitulating under the closed roof of Bernabeu. It was closed heaven. It was a Real Madrid closing roof, but it was closed heaven.
It was a long night.
It was closed heaven for Manchester City. First half, 3 goals from Federico Valverde. Manchester City were proudly putting their focus on Vinicius, maybe the likes of Bryan Diaz, but it was Valverde who turned their tormentor in chief. How did Arbeloa outthink Pep Guardiola?
I think Pep Guardiola actually outthought himself, because if you look at it, that starting 11, I see no reason why you are not using right now Nuri, who has been fantastic as left back.
He preferred Nico Riley.
And let's not forget,
right back, it's been Marcus Nunes and at right back all season. This time is going to be Kusasano.
If you look at
and then in the midfield,
he brought Tijani, who has not really been playing at all this season. I mean, that's why I said he shot himself in the foot. He overthought himself by shooting himself in the foot. He started Nico Riley, who we all know very well as a player that plays in midfield for City this season. Redan has been very fantastic since he came out from AFCON. He has started a lot of games. He benched Nuri and started Nico Riley as left back. And also, I still don't know why he started Savinho in the mid.
Even before Savinho got injured, he had not been informed. Since he came back, he has not been informed. Why starting your biggest game of the season?
He also started Semenyo behind.
In the 10 role. I mean, he started Doku, Semenyo. You know that Semenyo has been operating from either flank. Why would you put him as number 10?
So that's why I said he shot himself in the foot. He was, I don't know, I won't say he was overthinking too much, but then he's known for doing all these things. He's known for experimenting a lot. Maybe he has one eye on the Champions League, another eye on the Premier League. I don't know. But then he did. His formation was totally uncalled for.
Do we give too much credit to Guardiola in the sense that when he messes up, when he goofs, we put it down to overthinking? Should we just stop giving this guy the respect of thinking that he overthought and just admit the fact that he made a mistake? He had an error in judgment. He started the wrong players, and it came back to bite him in the ass.
Well, let me start with this. There are some few players he started I personally would disagree with. But again, let me give a very big kudos to the Real Madrid players. Let's be sincere with ourselves. They could have started anybody that they were supposed to start and still lose that game. Maybe not 3-0. But from the word go, Real Madrid was all over the place.
They showed that they wanted it more.
It was just about who wanted it more. Real Madrid wanted to come into that game.
They showed that they were the traditional champions
and show the fans that on our day we can beat anybody.
And when it comes to Champions League, we are still the favorites. Even if we are losing every game in La Liga. Yes. When it comes to Champions League,
we were fighting. I even at the point I was so surprised because I saw players that on the average you used to win so much balls, winning balls. Everybody was just fighting for everything.
It was like all the 11 Real Madrid players were on overdrive.
Yes, because no matter the tactics you want to deploy as a coach, you still need intensity. You need players to give the intensity to fight on the pitch. If people are not fighting on the pitch, it depends on who wants it more. And with the way Real Madrid played last night, they wanted it more. They wanted to show everybody we are going to win this game, and they won. But in terms of personnel, the only thing I would disagree with was playing Semenyo. I don't know what Guardiola thought of to play Semenyo in that game because number one, Semenyo is not really good in close areas to get the ball.
Should have played him wide.
Yes, if you are not fine, you play Doku. You are not going to play Doku. Maybe you have played Semenyo from the left.
Or don't play Savinho on the right.
Or don't play Savinho.
There was also Omar Mamouche on the bench.
So throughout the first half, they lacked that player that could take those fast passes from the midfield and turn. Something Foden used to give them. Something Sherky could have given them.
I mean, that's something Foden on the bench.
Semenyo was nowhere to be found, and you couldn't even. You can see the press.
And you can't even blame Mamouche. I'm sorry, you can't even blame Semenyo. He's playing in a position that is not easy.
And he couldn't even press much. Semenyo is not a press machine, so they found it very easy to play out from the back. So I would say that was some few things I see could have improved on. But nevertheless, Madrid was ready to win that game yesterday, and they won.
I'm talking about kudos to Real Madrid. I mean, there's been so much criticism of
Without Mbappe, even.
exactly. There's been so much criticism of Arbeloa and his style of management. There were also talks about the kind of injuries that he had. I mean, Kevin Mbappe injured, they had Carreras injured, they had Jude Bellingham injured, they had Rodrigo injured. There were a couple of more injuries. I think Adabugula also was injured.
I think Adabugula played in the game yesterday.
Okay, Adabugula was in the game. But I know that apart from Danny Ceballos was also. I need somebody in the midfield was also. So they had a long injury list, and they were coming off struggle in the Spanish La Liga. I mean, but that Real Madrid we saw last night.
Wow. That was Real Madrid. We always send the champion.
I think one thing Arbeloa did yesterday did fantastically well was that he knew that okay, having Camavinga and Tchouaméni play themselves in the midfield wasn't going to be great. So he decided to bring in a player from the Castilla. He played him as the DM and paired him with Tchouaméni. And also
he did that in the game against was it Osasuna or Celta Vigo? It almost backfired. No, against Osasuna, the game they lost 1-0.
I think it was Osasuna. Yeah,
it backfired, but to trust him again in this kind of game, I think you have to give the kudos to Arbeloa.
So he also did one thing. He brought in Brahim Diaz. Now maybe we might say, oh, maybe because of Rodrigo's injury, but then let's not forget Brahim Diaz has not really been playing that much since he got back from AFCON. So the fact that he brought in these two guys, he decided to trust them in a game of that magnitude. I think that shows that he has some guts in him. So I want to give kudos to the Real Madrid team. They were very, very fantastic. Intensity was high, top notch. All of them were on top of their game yesterday. Even Arnold, at some point, was also playing very well against Doku. So sometimes they were marking Doku, but still, Arnold at time was playing very well against Doku. So I want to give to Arbeloa and the boys.
And a player that I would not like to give anything to, sorry, is Vinicius Junior. Yes, he made an assist and all that, but then all you have, and this is where we miss Mbappe. All you have to do is put a penalty in the net, and the tie is over. 4-0, first leg. There's nothing City can do at the end. But at this point, not too bad. But is there a way back for Manchester City?
Nah, I don't. The thing is, if they go to the Etihad,
unfortunately, Man City do not have a roof to close.
if they go back to the Etihad, and let's say within the first 20 minutes, they get a goal. City don't get a goal or 2 goals. I just feel it's going to be over for City.
Okay, definitely.
I don't think it's over for City.
There's still a way back.
Can City beat Real Madrid 3-0 in the first half at Etihad? They can.
Depending on the kind of City that shows up.
Yes, it depends on the kind of City that.
Maybe the kind of Haaland that also shows up.
If we see the City that is always the City we always see at the best of their form, they can score 3 goals in the first 30 minutes. But I'm not going to count on it because with the rubbish I saw them do yesterday defensively, just few chances. Look at the goals Valverde was scoring.
They kept on passing, but
Valverde, and like you said, that was one of the things we were talking about. I don't expect O'Reilly to play in that game. O'Reilly was targeted.
I think one of the big chances that City had came from O'Reilly pressing the boy that the Castilla boy, the boy, he came from O'Reilly pressing the guy, and I say Kosovo had to make that save. I feel if O'Reilly had played more in midfield,
so which is where he has been doing that, and has been performing well.
Yes, they targeted him in that game, and they kept targeting him.
The came from his flank.
Yeah, from his flank.
So I sent the ball over his head, and he couldn't do anything.
So
definitely, well, the Emirates Stadium on Tuesday. Well, let's see. Sorry, the Etihad Stadium on Tuesday. Well, let's see what happens.